Hello guys, welcome to the very own Ernie and Bert Reactment series. This is the first episode that's ever going to be reenactment, starting with Ernie and Bert. This is going to be their before-to-known Thanksgiving special. So without any in mind, Ernie, why did you exit out?
I don't know, because I've made my mistake.
Ernie, you sure mistakes have already happened here?
Yeah, Bert. I was just making sure that I'm feeling comfortable with it.
You're fine with it, but...
Thanks, Handy Helpers. You're good with objects. Now, I think we shall get started on BrainPop Thanksgiving. And I'm just gonna make room over here so you know the words for it.
Okay.
It's a little dry.
Ernie, stop the film. I think Moby was pouring something onto Tim's plate.
Bert, you mean something that's already happened to Tim's Thanksgiving dinner plate?
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, we have to find out what's coming next in the documentary. Roll the film!
Thanks. Dear Tim and Moby, how did Thanksgiving begin? From Carrie and Tibby.
Wait, does this mean Thanksgiving is already happening?
No, Bert. It's just a documentary about when did Thanksgiving begin, Bert.
Yeah. But we have to wait and see how things are gonna work. Roll of tape.
Well, you've probably heard the story of a group of settlers called the Pilgrims. How in 1620 they came to America in a ship called the Mayflower. How they made friends with the native people and had them over for a feast. And they called it Thanksgiving, and we've been celebrating it ever since. Only problem is, a lot of that stuff is slightly inaccurate. They weren't called pilgrims, and they didn't dress that way. They wouldn't have called the meal Thanksgiving either. For the settlers.
Well, as you know, narrator, the settlers on the left is called Wampanoag.
But, Bert, didn't Paul Revere actually known about the Wampanoags when they made the battleship wars of King Philip?
Whatever they call it, the King Philip's War is something else. Roll the tape.
Thanksgiving meant a religious day of fasting and prayer. This was more like a harvest festival. As for their relationship with the Wampanoag, well, friends is kind of pushing it. The Wampanoag are a Native American people. Back then, they controlled a chunk of what's now Massachusetts and...
Actually, that's Cape Cod. We are actually in Greater Boston. As you probably see on the map, this is where we live. But on the lands, you can't even see bodies of water.
This is where me and Bert used to live right here. That's where Sesame Street was filmed in New York City. But what Tim and Moby were talking about, it's about pilgrims. Roll the film!
Controlled a chunk of what's now Massachusetts and Rhode Island. They've been living there for thousands of years in dozens of different villages. And they've been trading with European visitors for over a century. They'd never allowed any permanent settlement on their land, though. Then, in 1616, a disease brought by European traders swept the region. In just a few years...
Stop the film. Ernie, do you think that never ever been seen of those settlers of pilgrims who settle into Paul Revere's tribe?
No, Bert. Wampanoags actually took over the tribe and settlers from England. Let's continue the documentary and see how they look. Roll the film.
2/3 of the Wampanoag died. Their leader, was was worried about invasion. The Narragansett, a rival nation nearby, had been untouched by the disease. So,
which was part of the King Philip's War.
You're right, Bert. But let's continue this Paul Revere speech or the Wampanoag speech.
when the Mayflower landed on his doorstep, he saw an opportunity. The folks on the Mayflower were English. Back home, they belonged to the Church of England, the official state religion. But they believed the church had strayed from true Christianity. When it became clear they couldn't change the church, they started their own separate faith. These separatists left for Holland, where they were free to practice their beliefs. Eventually, they set sail for North America to build a society based around their version of Christianity. When they finally arrived, it was November, and winter was in the air. About 100 people stepped on shore, weak and sick from a difficult journey. They were totally unprepared for the harsh weather and the challenges of their new life. Low on food, they stole from Wampanoag stockpiles, and they robbed graves, taking jewelry and other valuables. By midwinter, people were dying every day of starvation and illness. Like the Wampanoag, the settlers feared their weakness would invite attack. So they took drastic steps to hide them. They dragged the sick from their beds, propping them against trees with guns in their hands. And they buried their dead at night. Only half of them survived the winter. One day that March, a native man walked into the settlers' camp. This was Samoset, a leader from Maine who was staying with the Wampanoag. To the settlers' astonishment, he said, "Welcome, Englishmen."
Well, I think that's the documentary for today. We heard that many other settlers were having their time trying to starvation their own foods from the Wampanoags.
We've also learned that other settlers from all over New England would know how their tribe was necessary and able hard to find. Right, Bert?
Yes, Ernie. But as we move on to part 2, thank you for watching the Thanksgiving documentary part 1. Stay tuned for part 2 coming soon on Colin Dykeman's channel.
This is Ernie and Bert speaking, signing you off.